We all know that prior to a tennis Grand Slam, there might be some controversy which you have seen in the last couple of years. In the past couple of seasons, it's been related to the coronavirus breakout. In Wimbledon, you saw Russian players being banned because of the war in Ukraine. So, in the last couple of years, you have seen controversies galore prior to the build-up of a tennis Grand Slam. But heading into the US Open 2022, which will begin at the end of August, it is not the coronavirus, it is not the war, but rather it is a very strange and offbeat controversy that is dominating the build-up. When you talk about tennis, what do you associate with? A tennis racket and a ball. Well, that same tennis ball is the source of controversy. Now, what is the controversy in the US Open, which is going to be building up in the last couple of days? Different balls. If you have to understand that the hard court season that is there in the US prior to the build-up of the US Open, they use a different kind of tennis ball. The one that is used in the rest of the season, when you play on grass, when you play on clay, when you play in the Australian Open, that is different. The WTA uses different balls. That WTA means the Women's Tennis Association. They use different balls during the US Open. And that is the major source of controversy. What is the controversy about? It is the light balls versus the heavier balls. This is the major source of controversy, meaning the weight of the ball. A lighter ball, unfortunately, what happens is, it's the light Wilson versus the heavier balls. The Wilson is heavier for the ATP, where the men play, whereas for the women, it is light. Now, if you look, I had spoken about in the previous slide, the rest of the season, there are three balls which are used: the Dunlop, the Penn, and the Schlesinger. It's like in the cricket analogy, a Kookaburra is used in Australia, the SG is used in India, the Dukes is used in England. Similarly, for all the other things, Dunlop, Penn, Schlesinger, they are used in the Australian, French and the Wimbledon seasons until the start of the hard court season. So, the controversy is whether should we use light or should we use the heavy balls heading into the US Open. Who has raised this concern? I had pointed out this individual. This individual is world number 1, Iga Swiatek. Iga Swiatek is a 2-time French Open winner, and she has raised a concern whether we should use the light ball or the heavy ball. So basically, why is this an issue? Lighter balls, because the weight is so low, they can fly around at pace, and what can happen is players commit more unforced errors in the due process. Heavier balls, when you have to look at it, they aid power players. So the likes of Serena, the likes of Iga Swiatek, they will prefer heavier balls. Lighter balls, if you are a touch player, you are more of a baseline player and you rely on serve and volley, then that can be used for it. The lighter balls, because of this unforced errors problem, that has been a major bone of contention. Iga Swiatek is saying that there are a lot of people in the top 10 who are agreeing with her. One of them is world number Jessica Pegula. She's saying that I don't think a lot of girls are in support of the light ball, because a lot of players, you have to understand, women's tennis has undergone a lot of change from the 70s and the 80s. Thanks to the likes of Serena, thanks to the likes of Iga Swiatek, there is more power now in the women's tennis than if you had associated with the touch play of Chris Evert or Martina Navratilova, or even Conchita Martinez for that way, Steffi Graf, Monica Seles. That era was different. It was more of touch and baseline. Here it is more power and serve and volley. But there is one particular group who's not in support of Iga Swiatek's comments, and it is led by Petra Kvitova. Remember, Kvitova is a 2-time Wimbledon champion, and she said it does not matter. Simply, she's put, you play with heavy, you play with light, in any kind of situation, it shouldn't matter. Simply an issue has been made out of nothing. What do the men say? Remember, the ATP and the WTA are often at words and they do not agree with each other on many aspects. Daniil Medvedev, who is the US Open champion, who ended Novak Djokovic's golden run in 2021, said that he likes the lighter balls because look, Daniil Medvedev is a combination of power and grace. He can play better off the baseline. He can also serve and volley. But on the other hand, if you have to look at it, the epic comment comes from 22-time Grand Slam winner Rafael Nadal. In his own casual way, he just says, it's not that important. Come to the court, play, win 22 Grand Slams, go back. Nadal's philosophy is simply unmatchable, not that important. In three words, he's just said it. So the controversy is pretty offbeat and it's not something that you'll encounter. Remember, light tennis balls aid a particular group of players. A heavy tennis ball aids a certain group of players. Remember, surfaces also play a big part in tennis, but also the balls. Because remember, in the French Open, when Rafael Nadal played a semi-final under a closed roof because of the weather in Paris, he said the humidity ensured that the balls were heavier and the baseline play became a lot more difficult for him. So, this is a very odd topic that you'll have to encounter. A tennis ball creating a controversy in the sport of tennis just before the start of a Grand Slam. Remember, the US Open is just a couple of days away, folks, and Rafael Nadal will be gunning for a 23rd Grand Slam. Novak Djokovic will be looking to level with him because remember, the coronavirus restrictions have been lifted. Even if you don't have a vaccine, you can still come in. Novak Djokovic, take note. As far as the women are concerned, this is Serena Williams' last Grand Slam and she will retire after that. Sania Mirza of India could have retired at the US Open, but she has suffered an elbow injury and that has changed her retirement plans now. Whether this ball is sorted, whether this controversy is sorted remains to be seen, but a simple advice, just play with whatever tennis balls you get. You have to see a good match. Thank you so much, folks, for listening to this live. We'll be back with more updates from the world of tennis. Remember, the US Open is coming. We'll go live whenever there is a big game on. So subscribe to Sports Today for all the latest news and analysis. We'll be back with more updates. And don't forget to subscribe to our Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram channel. Thank you.